So hello everybody, welcome to this week's Balcast. We have with us today Jason Waterfalls,
hey,
as always, Jared Hayes, David Lee, who are both original SoCal PM community leaders, and then obviously me, Zesty. And this week we're going to start off by talking about favorite holiday song.
Ooh, that's a good one.
who do you start with?
You want to go first, Jason?
Should I go first?
I feel like, you've been here before. You have,
That's true. I do
a sense
have
of, you got to teach them how to talk.
That's true. Because we are the only two regulars. But yeah, alright. So, favorite holiday song. I really like... I feel like I have a least favorite holiday song that's way more important to me.
Do you guys want to make it least favorite holiday song?
That's totally fair. That's totally
fair. Yeah, because like I like a lot of them. They're all like, it's Christmas. It's really
They're
nice.
fun.
But I fucking hate Frosty the Snowman. It like makes no sense in the context of Christmas cheer.
Oh no.
It's just a weird ass story about weird ass dudes. It sounds really bad, and it's also like my mom's favorite song, so I hear it like all the time. So
that's rough.
I had to get that off my chest.
You're in a safe place. It's okay.
All right, thanks, David.
I guess we'll keep it least favorite. All right, what's your least favorite holiday song?
Well, that's the thing. I don't have a least favorite.
Oh,
you like them all?
No, I don't. In fact, I equally discriminate against every Christmas song. I can't stand Christmas music.
That's
It's
dope.
the same music every single year, and it just gets old. Now, there is one song.
Oh, no, okay.
There's one song I don't mind, and the only reason I don't mind is because, well, it's a little drummer boy, right?
Oh, okay.
It's a story about this little boy. All he has is a drum, and he's going to march his little self up to Jesus Christ.
Oh my
play
God,
his drums.
That's
right?
really
That
morbid.
is some touching stuff. That's some touching stuff. He's going to play his drums, because that's all he had to give Jesus Christ on Christmas. It makes my mom cry every time. And my entire family, we just, as soon as that song comes on, you get my whole family like hyenas, or my mom like, you gonna cry now, Mom? Cry now, Mom? It's horrible, but it's great.
Crazy.
So I love it. Oh my god. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Everyone just like looks at me.
I mean,
usually that means it's your turn to speak.
Okay, sick. So now that they threw me off guard and gave me least favorite,
Are you doing it?
or either.
no, it's too late now. It's too late now.
Alright, Dave.
Already ruined it. I don't know if this is actually a Christmas song because I didn't hear about it until I saw the stupid animated movie. But the grandma got ran over by a reindeer.
Of course.
Is that a real Christmas song?
Of course.
I've heard.
I don't. Which one came first?
I saw the animated thing.
It was awful, right?
Yeah.
Because you would say anything else.
No, all right, whatever. Okay.
No, yeah. So that's definitely that's awful. Just wanted to put that out there. If you like that, you're probably a bad person.
Well, there you go. I'm gonna go with favorite.
Okay.
I'll be the one positive person
Well,
about.
this is positive. I mean, until
I
his
mean-
mom started crying.
There's an up and down to everything.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Muppets 12 Days Christmas. It's like the normal 12 days.
Dang, custom.
On the first day of Christmas thing, second day, but with the Muppets, so it's quite great. They're pretty bad. The comedy is that they're shitty at it,
Yeah.
so that's
I
fun.
used to have that track as a kid. My mom used to play when I drove down the car. Yep.
Did she cry?
She did not cry. Not during Muppets.
She's a brave woman.
Those Muppets are so fucking bad.
All right, well, and with that out of the way, we'll go on to talking about some recent PM events. As much as people like to act like there's nothing happening, there have actually been way too many events than we can even go over. But first, we're going to talk about Gauntlet 6, which happened the weekend before this one. It's not last weekend, but the weekend before.
Okay.
That's correct.
And that was in Connecticut and had 66 people, streamed by Great Value Smash, if you're looking for them VODs.
Good.
Yeah, and it was pretty standard in terms of, like, who was there from... It was mostly just, like, New York, New Jersey folks.
So like a regional.
Yeah.
They have a lot of regionals on the East Coast.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of... Their states are more, like, closer, so they're able to, like, kind of mingle more.
True.
Whereas I feel like California's, like...
It's like NorCal, then, like... I guess Slim Chang is in there.
Oh no!
And then
Doctor.
we got SoCal. Yeah, Doctor is right here. They got a whole third of SoCal, or the whole third of California themselves. But we're all really far apart.
We love SoCal.
And so they had Malachi took that one, and then second ended up being Kais, with third being Flip. And I think more than anything, what was cool about this tournament was just like Kais, who was a Charizard main, like beat Envy, Malachi, and Flip.
Wait, Kais beat
That's a
Malachi
big
at
deal.
this tournament?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think they normally, they kind of trade from
He
what I
trades
understand.
with Flip, I know that.
And I
Yeah.
believe he trades with Malachi as well.
Really? Damn, dude, Kais is fucking good.
Which I think is crazy because, like,
Zard is a shitty character.
yeah, people are like, I mean, Charizard is very bad, but, like, it's this weird thing where, like, some people, it's, like, situationally where, like, people be like, oh, Charizard's, like, actually good, and then people who be like, actually, Charizard's even worse than people think.
Just no middle ground.
Yeah, dude. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know.
There was also that Switch versus
Flip.
set.
That's I actually set that as a notable set in, like, the description box for the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one is pretty funny.
Although Switch fucks it up, but I mean, you know.
It was pretty good up until the end. Well, I think the end actually makes it even better, but that's just me.
I actually saw the winner set, or the losers finals, I guess, between Malachi and Flip, and I felt like it was really funny because, like, every time, like, Flip lost, he would unplug Malachi's controller and plug his into port 4 because, like, that's like a rule that you can have, right? You can counterpick port priority as well.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good. Like,
Flip's controller.
yeah, like I don't know. I thought that, like, Flip kind of underperformed at Olympus. I think he got one stream set.
Yeah.
He only got his pool set stream.
What
so
did he lose to in Olympus?
He lost.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who did he lose to in winners? Flip lost to. Because he lost.
I really don't remember.
forgot.
Because there were so many people.
There was it was way too much stuff happening, and Flip fell through the cracks. So it's like it's really good to see him, like, playing well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this was kind of his return tournament, too, because he's taken a break
For work.
pretty much. Yeah. And this was kind of like his comeback. So it's cool that he got, like, second?
He got third.
Third.
Malachi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kais got second. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, because Kais was on winners, I think, and then Malachi
Malachi had
ended
to
up
bring it
being-
all the way back.
All the way back.
Yeah.
And then another fun event that happened just this last weekend was the Southern Florida Arcadian.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that had 60 people. Obviously, it was in SoFlo and was streamed by South Florida PM. And
You got the juicy deets for us?
Yeah. I actually messaged Mr. Fab. He's a guy from SoFlo that, like, came to the Big Balc. And the SoFlo guys are actually really chill.
Is that where Hero Time is?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Miami area, I guess.
Yeah, and Mr. Fab himself was actually one of the people, like, considered for doing, like, pretty well at the tournament. He's, like, a local Squirtle player. But if I had to, like, give a very he gave me a lot of information, and I was like,
Damn. All right, that's
I don't
good.
know, like,
Yeah.
how many of these people, like, actually are, like, people I need to talk about. But I just picked, basically the top 2 contestants that they considered for, like, winning it. There was, like, a lot of people, actually, because it's, like, an Arcadian. But I know at the top, I want to say it's Cala, C-A-L-A, Kala?
Kala.
You
You're
know?
looking to us as if we know.
I can
you've heard of
guess.
him.
I could definitely
He's a
guess.
fellow Ivysaur main, so maybe you've talked to him.
Oh, dude, I'm so disconnected with Ivysaur.
It's true. It's been a long time.
Yeah, and so there's him, and then it was also Huanpai, who was a Yoshi. So that's I thought that was interesting that Ivysaur and Yoshi were like the top
Yeah, the
two
favorites.
to win, and they actually both, I believe. Who won it? I want to say, the Yoshi Huanpai did, and then Kala got second, and then AED got third. And then a notable set he told me was, if you're looking to check something out from that stream, it was Huru versus Blinking Sky, I want to say is how you say that. And they're also just two. There's actually, like, quite a lot of, like, bubbling talent in SoFlo right now, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What I thought was really cool is that, well, not cool, but also, like, just, like, abnormal, is that, for example, like, I'll contrast it with our Arcadian.
Yeah.
When we seeded the Arcadian, it was just a free-for-all. And, like, pretty much just random people got random, like, whatever. Everyone's inconsistent. But, like, I think that top 4 or top 5 placings at SoFlo's Arcadian were the top 5 seeds.
Yeah.
So they kind of know what players are on the up and coming. So, like, actually do check out these players out because, like, they are gonna be, like,
Yeah.
Wait, like, the seeds actually lined up?
that's weird, right?
That's weird for normal tournaments a lot of times.
Like
Let alone
winners
Arcadian.
I think winners semis was like 1 versus 4, and then the other side was like one of them got upset, but it was like that person versus the second.
It's like 2
seed.
versus like
It was like
5
2
or
versus
something.
7 or something. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, these people know how to seed a goddamn thing.
Yeah, and then 2 people that were, like, notable guys outside of the top 2 guys who had, like, pretty interesting runs if you're, like, gonna check out the VODs. There was Big Dog, who's a Bowser in that area.
Ooh.
He ended up getting a couple upsets and got 5th at the tournament, which
like
was pretty cool for
solo
him.
Bowser.
Yeah. And then
That's nice.
another guy was No Chill, who plays Ices, which I think is a good tag.
Nino?
And then, it's like Bowser and Ices both got fifth.
Shouts to Nino.
They
yeah.
formed.
Did Nino get fifth at the Arcadian?
Yeah.
Whoa! Are those characters
Yeah.
like destined?
Destined for
At Arcadians.
At
And
Arcadians?
yeah, No Chill ended up having an interesting run because he lost like first round of winners and then like just made it all the way back up in like a 60-man bracket.
Oh yeah, that's the gauntlet.
Yeah, dude. And so you want to talk about how it was Melee PM? How that was kind of fun?
That's what I thought was really cool about the SoFlo thing. Because I looked at the Smash GG because I'm like, gotta check out the brackets. Even though I don't know these players, maybe I know some.
Yeah.
And it turns out like you can look at the entrance and it's like an 85-man Melee Arcadian and a 60-man PM Arcadian at the same time. And if you look at the entrance, it's like a lot of double entered people, which I thought was really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like you entered 2 Arcadian events. That sounds really exciting or whatever. And I don't know, like, because we have 2 old school TOs. Those are our guests. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to ask sort of because PM is hard to just make a scene out of nothing. You had to kind of draw either from existing audiences or try really hard. And I think that you did, like, you did both. So, like, how did the PM community draw from, like, let's say, back then it was Brawl, because Smash 4 didn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Like, Brawl and Melee communities. Like, how did those guys, like, interact with PM, I guess?
How did Brawl and Melee interact with
Yeah.
us?
Do you want to start or?
Sure. I mean, Melee was pretty indifferent to us. They stopped by every so often, and some of them would poke their heads in. And actually, the person who won our very first tournament, our very first actual legitimate Project Down tournament, that was for us, like our own, was not a side event on Brawl or Melee. Dunkskis won it. The Melee player, the Falcon player from SoCal.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, he's not Norwalk, is he? I know he hangs with him.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Actually
I know
where
he's old
from.
school. I
He
don't
just
know.
stopped by and decided to play and ended up winning our tournament.
Yeah, like in the early days, we were kind of dominated because we had a lot of kind of Brawl players and some just like PM fresh players who were like playing in the early days, early brackets. That's what kind of filled it. Mm-hmm. But some of our top players were people like DSF, he played a lot of Brawl, he played a lot of Melee. Mm-hmm. Larry, who played a lot of Brawl, played a lot of Melee. He's back on the rise in Melee. Fly Manita, you guys already know who he is from Melee. Those were like people who were topping our tournaments. Okami. And
yeah.
I mean, also
we're both PM devs at the time.
So Okami and Fly were PM devs also, so they were also like kind of true PM players as well. But the top players were definitely more Melee, and then we had like the next echelon coming in with like Tom, who was from Brawl as well, and Melee. We had like Tyrant from Brawl. We had there's just like a lot of people. But
we initially brought a lot of people over from Brawl because we started off as a Brawl side event. That's how we started. And I talked to Blur on his the second Melee SSS that had ever happened. I talked to Blur and I said, hey, could we have a tournament here? Because I brought in a setup and I asked if I could post up, and there just happened to be some room. So I set up and a bunch of people were taking interest, and I said, okay, well, this is good enough. I can pitch this. So I talked to Blur and I said, hey, by chance, do you think we could have a tournament here? And he said, well, I can't do it on these ones because it's SSS, it's getting big, and it's there's not enough room for us. But he said you can't do it on the Brawl side because they're not getting as much traction. So in 3 weeks, that was when we had our first side event with Brawl, and that's when I met Tyrant, and he pretty quickly got involved with Project M. He was one of our first heavy hitters.
So
and then Tom, Arrow, came in early with I think 11 or 13 other people in that first tournament. Essentially made up 50% of the entire entrance we had just by all those people coming from Palm Desert. And as for Melee treating us like over time, they were interested. From time to time, it depended on the player, but otherwise they were just pretty much indifferent to us. Mm-hmm. It was just, okay, they're there, they don't really care for us, don't really dislike us, it's just they're just doing their thing. At least that's how I felt. Brawl was right along for the ride because Brawl was on the decline. Brawl was dying, plain and simple. And we saw that with SSS when they got their entire line shut down and we ended up replacing it. So a lot of those guys ended up just coming over to continue playing the game.
Yeah, I do remember when I started going to my first sort of events, a lot of the players were like, they're from Brawl, like I guess just to say old names that like kind of have moved on from the community, but were there at the very beginning. Were like Lynn, who was aggro, or like her dad was aggro. K Dash, like
Johnny Westside.
Johnny
Oh,
West.
he came
a little bit later,
and he was kind of technically PM.
Was Nico there towards the beginning?
Yeah, Nico actually. Yeah, he was there.
He was also came from Brawl, so there was like a I guess Disco and like radio. Was Radio Brawl?
Yeah, Radio. Radio. I don't know where radio came from.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, we're getting a little too wrapped up
names
in
that people are probably not gonna know.
Yeah, but let's talk about one more event, and then we can get into like the old stuff.
And so not so much of an event, so much as like what will eventually be a series of events. But Texas has announced their own circuit. I actually thought this was like really dope, and like I can't do more things, but I was like, oh my god, I kind of want to do this. It's just like they're basically just taking like all the TOs of Texas, because Texas is like fucking huge.
Yeah.
And so they're like taking all the TOs from these different areas, like DFW, Austin, San Antonio, and each of those guys gets to have like an event or two that's in like a year circuit for them. And at the very end, like based off of those results and like other results, obviously, they're making like a whole state PR for like just Texas.
Damn. Texas actually does need a state PR.
Yeah, and I thought that was so dope. Like they already have a unified stage list. They're gonna be going with Paragon. They're going to be doing, like, a bunch... There's, like, it's a 6-month circuit that are using events from all over the state. And then, yeah, I know the first event is January 14th, if you're in Texas and somehow haven't heard. It's going to be the San Antonio Battle Royale 3. And from there, they're just going to be having events, I think, like, every month or so. And then maybe 2 a month. And at the very end, they're having, like, almost like a Shark Tank where, like, all the top players are going to, like, round robin against each other. And it's gonna like shuffle into a PR for like the next year.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, that's gonna be gnarly, dude.
Dang.
Fun idea.
You know what's funny is I think that DFW, Texas, and Oklahoma kind of had a similar thing before, and the finale for that circuit was Aftershock. Which is the one national that SoCal decided, hey, we've never traveled before. Let's go to Aftershock.
Well, that was like their finale?
That was their finale. It was, and the reason that they incentivized it, the whole circuit thing that they did last time, was whoever got the most points in the circuit was floated to top 16. So they floated 8 players into top 16 from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So then there was like this huge hubbub of like all the SoCal players decided to drive down like, hey, this is bullshit. Why is it that all the Texas players that we wanted to play are like floated by, and then we have to like like play each other and stuff? And then they're like, SoCal, you're kind of retarded. We've been doing this for like 3 to 6 months, and you haven't paid any attention to us, and we're not going to change our rules at the last minute
for you guys.
Yeah, so like people like Sosa and me and Mock were all like getting pissed, and it was like because we didn't know what was going on. But Texas has actually been like historically one of the most organized scenes, especially DFW with Tony Locator and stuff.
Yeah, dude. And they were actually like one of the biggest for a long time too. They've kind of like gone under a little bit with like a lot of their top players dipping, but I think this will definitely help like build it back up.
Yeah, went from like Xanadu with VGBC to like Tony Locator. They kind of like swooped in there, and into Project M Central. Then we started going to Hitbox. So it's definitely it's been a pretty cool progression. So I'm glad they're getting back into it.
Yeah. Everyone has to take turns like bearing the torch. Right.
Alright, but yeah, so with that out of the way, I guess we'll head it back to you two. And we're going to be starting with the beginning, and I guess let's start with like the most basic facts. Like what year, like what event, who and where, like what are like the essential details on like where and when SoCal PM began?
October 27, 2013.
What?
That was our first event.
Cool. I didn't know.
Okay.
I always had to guess, dude. I'm like, it was in the fall.
Wait, what year is that? 2013?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. That's a long time, dude. We're almost in 2017. How does that feel?
I already feel old.
I know, right?
My birthday was like 12 days ago, and I didn't even know it was my birthday. It just kind of came and went. I was like, thank God.
I'm gonna move the mic closer to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, so that was the first event. You want some highlights? Is that?
Well, here, I mean, the ones you showed up, actually, it consisted mostly of, again, the Sandy Boys, which, fun fact, I actually coined that.
Oh, yeah.
You
did.
named
Yeah, he did.
the Sandy Boys?
I did.
shit.
They came down in
Palm
such a
Desert
group.
Yeah.
They came down in such a big group, and there was, the original group was Tom Arrow, there was 3 years Royal, and we still see Royal from time to time. We saw him do well at the Arcadian.
There was Physics.
Rippin,
Yeah,
that
Rippin.
one guy, and
Rippin'.
yeah. What was Johnny's? Do you remember Johnny?
Oh God, what is Johnny's
What
tag?
was his tag? I was bugging me, man. I couldn't figure it out.
Dude, there were so many of them. What was his tag? 'Cause I think Bruce was there, Johnny, Evan, who's Physics.
Evan, yep.
God, no. Point is, there was like hella Sandy Boys.
They brought them all in.
Super talented.
And
Tim Volt.
What got them to come all
That's
the way
right.
out? Isn't that like a distance for them?
it is. It is. I
They
think an hour
were
and a half.
some of the they were like some of the original PM players in SoCal. Strangely enough, like Tom's been playing, or Arrow's been playing since like
Day one.
1 point something.
Yeah. Something like
Yeah, he's been playing from like, and they were like, he has videos from way back.
Oh my
and...
god, you're right. The Legend of Arrow's 1.0 Ganondorf.
What in the world, dude?
He like claims that his 1.0 Ganondorf was the best Ganondorf in the world.
I've just seen his like Toon Link videos where he like go underneath stages with all these crazy glitches and recovery things.
That was the
got
first
fixed.
thing he did. That was the first thing he did. He came in and showed the whole room, look at what I can do with Toon Link. And at the time, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It's still amazing.
It's still amazing.
Well, I got used to it.
Oh my god.
I
the
got
recoveries.
Oh, anyway, say anyways. Anyway, who else?
Let's see. Machiavelli.
Oh yeah, Mock.
Mock. I think Radio Draft might have been
Lost to
around
both
for
of them,
that
dude.
first
Yeah, Radio was there.
I think that...
Is that like your first event for PM2?
Yeah.
I think that entire
Or-
tournament was between 19 and 21
The side
people.
event. Yeah. I think we had 21 people.
Somewhere between 19 and 21 entrants. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not.
It could have
It's
been
a long
20.
time.
It could have
It's
been
been a long
21.
time.
This is so
Could have
weird.
been 19 and a half.
How did you guys even find out about Project M? Did like...
You want to take this one first?
Well, I mean, I was playing Brawl. I was playing like MLG game battles online, so I feel like that's kind of casual because it's online. But and I really wanted to learn how to play Brawl. I wanted to get really good. I wanted to go to tournaments, and I ended up finding Project M at random because I was like looking for tournaments on Smashboards or whatever. So from there, I found out that there was like a player locator map, and they had like 3 or 4 people who were kind of near me. There was Jared, who was like all of 10 minutes away from me, but we like never met up. There was Okami, who was like all the way over in like Laguna or something like that.
Nah, Dana Point.
And then there was freaking Jerome, aka Gauntlet. Like Jerome.
Fucked up
Gone.
controller guy.
Yeah.
Jerome's a legend for the record. So just ask us at a tournament. So I ended up going to go play at Jerome's house, and like Jared had played at Jerome's house before, and he's like, okay, just watch out. He may leave at random, things like that.
Yeah. I've got good stories about him.
So so I went to go play at Jerome's, and afterwards I got used to it. I played with like Ben Clark, shouts out to him. Came back, finally played with Jared, and then like as we all started to kind of play with each other, there's like, yeah, we played with this other guy. He's really good at Ivy Store. His name's Machiavelli. And it's like, okay, cool. We all start talking about, yo, we should start running tournaments. Like we were starting to get a little group going. Maybe we could talk to like Crimson Blur, and then eventually we went to the SSS. He talked to Crimson, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So did you have TO experience beforehand? Like you obviously know who Blur was.
None of us did.
Bruh, it was a
Whatsoever.
process. Like you guys think I'm bad at TOing now? You should have saw me
You
3
should have
years
seen
ago.
us back in the day, man.
Like we had like
The worst
20-man
TO.
bracket that went like 4 or 5 hours.
Well, okay, I remember that one. That one was not entirely our fault. We had a lot of other just extraneous crap happen to us that day.
it was a rough start. But we had like it's just like we just knew who Crimson Blur was. And like my first
the idea, but you've never met
Well, I
him
mean,
No,
that was like a
like-
different time too, because that's
I
like
didn't know
before
who he was.
SSS, or the
Oh,
early
I-
SSS.
I didn't even know about competitive Smash until I was 21 years old. Despite playing Melee endlessly in middle school. That's what I did. That's what we all did. But I didn't even find out there was a competitive scene until I was 21. And I technically I heard about Project M back in 2011. I was just kind of like what he was doing on Smashboards, and I just happened to see it. Then I read modding Wii, and I said, nah, not going to happen. So I didn't want any part of that. It intimidated me. I didn't want to mod my Wii. So I waited a little while, and then I wanted to play a Smash game competitively, and I just started seeing my now wife, and she said that she played Smash, and I wanted to play Melee, she wanted to play Brawl, and then I remember hearing about that mod. It's Brawl with Melee physics. Well, perfect. We can play that together, and we'll both be happy. Because she just wanted the expanded roster. She didn't care about the physics. She just wanted more characters. So that's how I found out about Project.
Wow. So like I'm just connecting the dots in my head. I'm like, wow, if Natasha liked Melee instead of Brawl.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
doubt.
If Natasha liked Melee instead of Brawl, we might not have had a PM like scene start in SoCal until like way later, because like you were like one of the first to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, like I was saying, dude, the Facebook group page that's like I feel like ours gets the most traffic of any Facebook group
It's
page.
like over
3,000, yeah, dude.
Yeah, so that started off as like a Smash group that he made for his friends.
That was I had just decided that I wanted to play this game and I wanted to get better at it, so I needed to play other people. And the only other people I knew were just like my brother and my friends, people I knew kind of played games, but whatever, they were casuals. They were totally casuals. So I had them over. There were like 13 of them or something like that, and I just stomped them. And I know I just say it so casually, but I did. They were casuals. They were casuals. Let's get one thing straight.
Yeah,
I'm no good, but I can take out any casual.
Oh hell yeah. So
that Facebook group was initially just for like those little 13 people that kind of played and never responded to any of my events, and I was just like, none of them are in that group anymore. I think I just removed them because I knew they didn't want to be there. But Blur actually told me when I started asking him, what do I need to do to create a scene? He said, well, you need to get a Twitter going, and you need to get Facebook going, and you need to just make events. And I said, okay, cool, I have a Facebook group. So I just took that group, renamed it, slapped some stuff over it, got rid of some people, added some people, and called it a day. And that's the group we all use. Same with the Smash 4 group. But I made the Smash 4 group because I was so sick and tired of people posting Smash 4 stuff in the Project M group.
Wait, you made the SoCal Smash 4?
Yeah, dude.
I do. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was one of the first admins. They kicked
I have
me
all
out,
the power.
all sorts of stuff, dude.
You can just delete both of the groups tomorrow.
I can delete history.
We could just do it like on stream.
Oh, yeah, countdown.
I don't even want to test it because they'll say like, yeah, do it, man, do it. I won't do it.
You can erase everything. Oh my god.
No balls, you won't.
But okay.
But that's exactly why I haven't given it up yet. I'm so afraid of someone actually having that crazy mentality. I want to fucking delete everything. Just go to town.
Yeah. So you gatekeep the Facebook.
I do.
groups.
Yeah. It's my one job now.
And you do it well.
I have one job and I succeed.
And it's to not delete the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Every single day it's a struggle to not
It is.
delete.
Twitch your finger, man.
Yeah, just sees all the crap
Yeah.
posts.
Getting back to the beginning of it, I just sort of want to know, like, what was it like being sort of the first SoCal PMTOs? Because, like, you can't consult anybody. You just kind of have to wing it, right? Or did you consult people? I don't know how it worked.
Well,
Go ahead.
all right.
I'll build off it. Go.
Okay, sick. Yeah, this is how we TO, by the way. I kind of look at him. I'm like, you want to go like kick it? And he looks at me. He's like, Dave, I'll hurt them. I'm like, fine, I'll go talk to him. Yeah, basically, there was a lot of winging it. There was a lot of like doing stuff ourselves. But then we also had like a pretty good mentorship program between Blur and like Fly Amnita and Okami. I feel like we're like.
Taught me how to seed, that's for sure.
Yeah, like I didn't know how to run pools. I didn't know how to seed half this crap. I didn't know how to like read brackets technically.
Yep.
There was just like a whole lot of things we did wrong, and there were some people who were like, "Yo, let me help you and show you how to do this." And there were other people who like get on Facebook like, "Yo, your tournament sucks. I should take it from you." I'm like, "Oh,
Sosa was doing that, like, even way back in the day when he sucked.
no! It wasn't even Sosa, dude. Sosa came in like 3.02.
I don't remember hearing.
Oh,
You don't remember the I don't want to throw shade because it's the homie.
Well, did I stab him?
No, dude.
Okay, good.
It was a wild time back there.
Ages.
Trying to take over a tournament series?
No, dude, you remember?
I don't remember.
Yo, young boss.
Of course I remember Boss. I don't remember
no,
him.
but you
Oh,
remember-
yes, I remember that.
like the
That happened
douche?
for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was like a couple weeks.
Yeah, like literally, it was like a fat post.
I remember that.
Because Arian had to come in and say like, "Yo, the tournaments are running too long. This, that, the third."
Yep.
So I don't know. They cracked down on us, and then like Noosh came in like, "You know what? This would never happen if I was running the tournaments. I should run it. You know what, guys? Here, let's do this. I'm gonna make an event page." I'm like, "Whoa, Noosh." She's like, "Yeah, dude. I've been playing Melee."
I remember that now.
I'm just like throwing all this crap. Noosh, I love you, dude. You know that. Don't hurt me. Don't. But yeah, it was a crazy time back then. It was like kind of lawless.
Mm-hmm.
There was no real like authority figures. Like Jared was like already there. They elected Machiavelli. Then they elected Arrow to help TO the original series.
No, that's not that. That's not what happened.
What are you talking about?
That's not what happened.
Did they
There
vote?
wasn't. No, there was no election. I just wanted him on my team, so I said, "Help me, TO."
Oh, okay. See, this is why he's here to keep me in strip.
Yeah, I was just trying to find people that were helping me out, people that looked like they were smart and like-minded, and I picked the worst two candidates.
Tori doesn't
But
look
with-
very smart.
David, the interesting thing about David is that I actually didn't at all have him in mind for working as a TO because he was so quiet. He was so quiet. He was pretty timid, and he's humble dojo. And eventually, that's actually what I came to value about him the most is that when there was a situation where it was like my touch would have been way too firm, it was like just send in him. He's super nice.
I was the nice one, guys. I was the nice one. What a world.
So you guys just to begin with like went along with SSS or like where were your first events and what patch are we talking right now?
This is
Where are we
We're
in
like
PM?
negative
Yeah,
3.6.
There really has been no chronicle here. It's been it was in 2.3. We started off in 2.3.
Whoa.
2.3 was a version?
Whoa,
Or
2.6.
not 2.3. I'm sorry.
2.6D. Because my store is broken.
Was
That was a good build,
2.6
dude.
B?
Those are the
Yeah.
days.
I don't know why I keep saying 2.3. I've been
I've
saying that for years. No, and then Mock corrects me all the time. He's like, dude, there's no 2.3. And I'm like, oh, right. I still do it.
So
This was this was at that point. We had, I just explained, I went into Blurry, set us up with the Brawl crowd, and from then on it was every 2 weeks.
yeah.
And that went on for a long time. Eventually we hooked up with McCain to work with the Mayhem series, and actually that was Bam.
Yeah.
Bam actually hooked us up with that initially. And that's when we started doing the Mayhem Melee PM crossover event, which was actually a really big turning point because it brought in what I call them the second generation.
Mm-hmm.
I call them second generation of PMers, like ones like Boss that came in through that Mayhem section. But I think that was when we started seeing things a little bit more clearly and things became a little bit more real, because prior to that it was just us working at the Super Arcade with Armando and Mike.
Yeah, maybe like 40-man turnouts, something like that. It was. I mean, 40-man sounds like a lot now, but like back then, it's like 40-man is small. It's not that bad.
For just PM?
Yeah, just like at the PMSSSs, and then we go into like Mayhem, start jumping up to like 70.
Well, actually, oddly enough, we had the weekend before the first, or the tournament before the first Mayhem. I believe it was either tournament before or right after. We had the most amount of entrants, and I think we had 112 at a Super Smash Sunday. I know we hit the triple digits.
Oh yeah,
and it was a really big
riding
deal.
off the summer of Smash was real nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
People were hyped for it. It got really big. It fluctuated like crazy, and there's a question on here that says something like, what was it?
Well, what was the question kind of referring to? Like,
You could just make up your own question and answer it.
Well, I'd been thinking a lot about
You
it.
told
Now
us.
I just-
We'll say it, and then you can
Yeah.
tell
I
us
might
back.
figure it out later. Just go on to the next topic.
yeah. So the point is, we started off with SSS, kind of like bi-weekly, and we took over the Brawl slot. So it was like PM one week, Melee another week. Then we joined into like Mayhem, and Mayhem was like Melee and PM kind of joining forces, led by Bam and McCain. And Jarrett, myself, and Corey kind of covered the PM side, whereas Bam and McCain ran the Melee side. And then there were other kind of small events like Smash Olympics happened, Overflow, which is when Arizona came out. It was like a Brawl regional that had a PM, I guess, bracket. And I think there's like one other one that was like pretty sizable.
Water Temple.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. But I mean, those were the main two, and that's when we transitioned into 3.02.
Yeah.
So it was like 2.6 starting off for a good like 4 or 5 months.
An interesting little tidbit about Mayhem is that, to my knowledge, and I actually heard this from, I believe it was Fly, on the day that it happened, but Mayhem on, I'd have to recheck the date, but it's the one we had 312 entrants.
Oh, that's the biggest
For-
single day.
Yes.
Just PM?
Oh, when
Yes.
Hungry Box came? Was it that one?
That might have been the time Hungry Box came. No, it wasn't. S2J won that tournament.
Oh, it was a different one.
Yeah, S2J won that big tournament.
Yeah, Mayhem. That Mayhem was at the time the biggest single day. I think multi-smash event.
It was the biggest, multi-smash event finished in a single day. We had the largest amount of unique entrants ever.
Yeah, because PM had like
think we still-
170, I think, and like Melee had 240 or something like that.
Jesus
Or something like
Christ.
that. It was pretty balanced on both sides. Melee had about 60 more than us, but I mean, we were still in the triple digits ourselves.
Yeah.
You were
well
running
into
these
them.
huge ass brackets and like didn't even TO anything
We had-
before.
No, and that night I had no idea. I was running around with a chicken, head cut off. I was just that
Yeah.
night.
I had to
was
keep
crazy.
Jarrett grounded, and I had to make sure Corey was doing something. That was like my job.
Corey never did anything. He sat
Shucks
in
to
that
Corey,
chair
dude.
and talked about PM.
Too
Yeah.
busy making it.
Yeah, so I don't know. We didn't have TO experience, but we had to learn fast. And
We had an accelerated training.
oh,
Because
God,
not only did we get it through people like Blur and Okami and Fly, just people helping us out with general tournament etiquette, but we had an entire community as well that were super willing to just work with us and give us
Yeah.
the patience. Because, we screwed up a lot. I mean, we had no idea what we're doing. We were bound to make tons of mistakes, but the community was just so patient and forgiving with us. So
It's like when you like trying to learn a foreign language, so you like go live in the country, but like you move into like the lower end where things are like crazy, and you have to learn fast or you die. It was like that.
It was kind of like
It was. Yeah.
So just by being in charge of the events, you guys just kind of became the community leaders, or like was that a thing you guys even wanted, or was it like pushed on you?
Oh, that's a good one.
I just wanted to play competitively. I just wanted a group. I just wanted a scene. I just really wanted a challenge and for people to play together with one another. I wanted to make a whole big thing in SoCal. It wasn't about necessarily being anyone or leading anything. I just wanted to play the game, and there was no one around to do it. And over time, yeah, it wasn't. I didn't get forced into that role. I didn't necessarily choose it. It just kind of like, hey, you can do this if you want to, and you can do some really cool things. Do you want to? Yeah, let's do it. I'm fully capable. I can totally do that. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I know for me, that's actually like a really big one for me. Since I wasn't, like he said, he wasn't even considering me at first. And I got plugged in like on the Facebook page. I was like doing questions of the day, like way back in the very early days. And I was asking questions. I was just trying to get people to talk, interact, and like get the Facebook group like comfortable.
Which is what brought my attention.
Yeah, so it's just like things like that. So I started off, I wanted to be a top player. I wanted to like get really good at the game. I made like Tom, because I lost to like my first bracket, lost to Tom and Corey.
so Machiavelli and Arrow.
Yeah,
who are
Machiavelli and
still
Arrow.
super relevant today.
Yeah, so I'm
This is
like,
interesting.
when I lost to them, I felt like it was like respectable, and I didn't understand the characters that well. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make you guys my rivals, and I'm gonna like train. I'm gonna beat you guys. And then I started TOing, and as some of you know, like I TO'd for a lot of times. I was still like playing actively, like through most of 3.0, and I just felt like I couldn't focus on both and do both well. So it just came to the point where like we were the only scene in town for like as far as running events well for like a good year and a half. So it came to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna stop playing and just focus on building a community, running good events, and maybe one day I'll be able to come back and play.
It did become something over time where it was something we did have to do at that point because we had built something so big that we couldn't just up and drop it. And there were more than a few times where we were both stressed, not ready to drop it, but all three of us were just like, this is just exhausting.
Well, how often are you guys like doing events? Is this like bi-weekly? Every other week?
Bi-weekly SSS. Mayhem was monthly, and a lot of times Mayhem lined up.
Double weekend.
Yeah, double weekend, and Mayhems were massive. Well, no, everything was massive, dude.
Everything.
Because like SSS started averaging like 80 people.
Yep.
And then like when it was really high, I think the highest we got in the SSS was like 120 something. And then like the lowest towards the end of like 3.02, we got down to like 30s.
If you don't mind my asking, what was it like? Were you guys like making any money from this, or did this all go to the venue?
Oh yeah, that's
this guy put out so much money out of his own pocket. It's unbelievable. I mean, aside from just the traditional money it would cost to get up there, get back, drive the TVs to whoever owns them, and do all the other stuff. This guy, whenever we needed anything, it was like, crap, the megaphone ran out of batteries. He'd haul over to Target to get one. Crap, one of the CRTs is stuck on an input, and we can't change the input. I'll run to Best Buy and get a universal remote. I think he must have spent easily around $300 to $500 at the very least, just in little things like name tags for us at the tournaments.
I love the name tags.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the name tags.
I love the name tags. Like, my first tournament, it's like, oh, and what's your tag? And, like, they wrote it out for me and gave it to me. I don't know if, I think it was, I don't know who was at the TO desk.
Probably one of us.
I don't know. It was either one of you or one of the Melee guys, because it was at a Mayhem.
K-Dash.
Oh, it could have been.
I don't know. I like really liked it because it was my first tournament and like I knew everyone's tags and stuff. I just started looking at them. So I didn't feel really like weird like sitting down with people I didn't know. So I don't know. Like there are like a lot of little things that I felt like you guys did really nice.
Yeah, we used to have like numbered TVs. We used to do all sorts of like.
Oh yeah, I remember.
We tried a lot of systems.
Yeah, we used to have team meetings, dude. And like
every week.
We like get on Skype, talk about like things we did good, things we did bad, ways we could change it, new brackets we could try. Like we created. Shouts out to Mike Watts for real quick. But he was one of the people who told us about starting amateur bracket, and we started that at SSS. And then shouts to freaking Venom and Disco in grand finals at the first one. Those scumbags, dude. Like they sandbagged through bracket and then destroyed amateur bracket. It's before we knew top players couldn't be in there.
We figured that one out later.
All to win a freaking free soda, dude. I hate them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's just like so many like different things that we brought into the kind of tournament world, and we tried so many things. And
oh my god,
marble matches. Shouts to the Sandy Boys.
Arrow, yeah.
Oh god, dude.
What is a marble match?
How did that even get started? I want to know like why that got started and like what
and
it was.
spread it across
Okay,
the
These are
nation.
the important questions right
One
here.
thing, I'm not even... We might need to verify with Arrow if we can even talk about this. Because that was one thing he wanted to keep down low, because the whole purpose of marble matching is to be quiet among your group of friends, your community. That's the whole purpose of it.
And then we hoard it out.
We can proceed forward with that in mind, though.
It's hoard out, dude.
Yeah,
it's already been hoard out.
I mean, like 20 people bought marbles and then didn't marble match, so that was pretty hype.
I still have one of IPK's marbles.
Yo,
back when he was a scrub
Delicious
lord.
IPK.
I totally got one. I totally scored one.
Oh,
I keep
holy
all right.
fudge! I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk about a marble match because, like, I don't know.
Context.
Yeah, they need to know what this is and why it's so crazy that you have an IPK marble.
Marble matches are essentially money matches without the use of money. Instead, you use marbles, and each marble is you go out, you get your own specific bag of marbles. This bag is unique to your community, your group, so only you have that same color. You put a marble on the line. If you win, you get one of theirs. If you lose one of yours. Or you can choose to take one of yours back out of their bag and place it back in yours. It's essentially, I like to call mine the little Keeper of Souls bag. Keeper of Souls.
It's like the pride match, but you get the trophy.
Yes.
Or you can win back your trophy that they stole.
So I have one of IPK's marbles. Back when he first... Actually, one of the first things IPK, when he started playing competitively, David brought him over to my house. And David brought him over to my house and we played. And, I think that was his second time ever playing PM.
Mm-hmm. Freaking, I hate David so much, dude.
I marble matched him with
so good.
Mewtwo and ended up winning. Broken Mewtwo.
That's on
3.0
YouTube too.
Mewtwo. Oh,
That's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And me losing him was on YouTube. I killed myself last talk. But anyway, that's a marble match.
That's
Just
a marble
imagine
match.
if I had an IPK marble, I would like. Is that like mounted on your wall?
It
Just like
should be, dude.
Nope, it's sitting in the bag with the rest of the sorry souls.
Get body, David.
Okay.
So one more thing about like the early days. So what was it like getting people to like your Facebook hub? Because I mean, Facebook and Smash has kind of like connected and grown with time, and like nowadays it's like, oh yeah, just go on Facebook. But like I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, back in like 2013, like did people just go there on their own? Did you just like tell people about it? Like,
No, I mean, there wasn't. We'd already reached a point where Facebook had become the go-to means of
Smash.
communication, aside from Smashboards, and of course we posted on Smashboards and Facebook, but those were the only two platforms that were really needed at the time. Truth be told, in the early, it wasn't. None of it was necessarily difficult. It was the learning and the, I guess, the will to continue. The will to just keep doing something you understand nothing about, but you enjoy it, and that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like when we posted on like Smashboards, for example, we would link the event page, and then from the event page, that's how like it would be made through the SoCal community.
so we would like kind of like
So they would
there.
find a way there, and a lot of word of mouth. So we'd be at an event to like, yo, how'd you hear about the event? Oh, well, I heard from this so and so. Are you on the Facebook page? No, it's like, yo, well, go here, do this. I added so many people. There's so many people on my friends list I don't even know who they are technically because I'm terrible with names, number one, and I haven't seen them in forever. But I'm like, yo, I'll add you right now, and then I'll add you to the group later. Like, it was literally that direct, that personal, where I was like adding people to add them to the group, or like taking time out of the bracket and like showing people how to get to the group, things like that.
I just remember watching people come in on their own. That's what I remember, watching the Facebook group go up by 10 people like every hour.
Oh yeah.
Were there no admins?
There was a time. No, we had admins. I think
It was just like
me, Corey, and David.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just
Back in
like
the Tyrant Saga,
open
dude.
range. Anyone can just enter.
No.
And so you guys like got pretty big pretty fast. I mean, obviously like just the hype of the nation. PM was kind of like the new Smash game before Smash 4. So what was it like being in charge of events that were like rivaling like Melee? Like you're not necessarily hitting like as high as Melee, but you guys are like making like a scene for yourself.
I thought a lot about this because it's not something that ever really occurred to me. That was what was supposed to happen. I expected that to happen. I expected to be pulling in 60 to 80 people every 2 weeks, and if I didn't, I was wondering what the hell did I do wrong. I just expected that. It wasn't. I mean, of course it was exciting, and it was you feel privileged. It's like, man, all these people are coming out. This is great, and especially when you put on that event, it also feels like you're giving these people a place to do what they love, and that prospect is amazing in and of itself. But watching it get bigger wasn't. I didn't swell with pride. That's what was meant to happen. That's us.
And kind of from my side, it was a little scary. For one, The way I TO is like more personal, and I like to stop and like greet people when they come in. I like to talk to people, while I'm like seating or while I'm doing other things. One of my big things is like making sure everybody knows that they're important, that I notice them. When I have time, I like to go play with random people. I would team with people. Like, I just like to be really involved with community. And I just feel like that's really been one of the reasons why people like my events so much is that personal flair.
It absolutely is.
So when you start going to like 70 people, when you start going to like 90 people, when you start getting to 115 people, it's just like, I can't talk to everybody. I can't make sure, like, if I see someone over in the corner, like, no one's playing with them, they're just playing against the CPU, I can't necessarily stop what I'm doing, running a 100-man bracket and pools and calling matches and, like, checking on stream, and I can't go over there and, like, talk to them or play a game with them. So there's, like, a kind of a disconnect that would start happening as events got larger, and I'd still have to make sure not only am I, like, trying to engage people, but also balancing that overall tournament experience. So something kind of had to give, and a lot of times it was the more personal side, and that I didn't really like that much, but then I also kind of tried to push it into the community to notice things like that and to like take note and, just be a homie. That's just what it came down to. So that was kind of one of my personal struggles there.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I do think, like, as someone who came in sort of like towards the middle of 3.02, like sort of when the events were like really big, I think I like end of I think December of 2014. I don't know what, it doesn't matter. But like pretty much it was like, I felt like the community was just really, and that might have been something that rubbed off on the community because of the events that you two put on. But like, I felt like I could sit down with anybody and they were all like really friendly and they were all like, they were kind of being the good.
No, that's exactly what I wanted.
We shaped it like that.
Yeah, they were being the message that you kind of were, where I was like, I felt like there was a time where I was like kind of sitting by myself, and then I think it was 3 years came up to me.
The homie 3.
Yeah, and then we started like playing or whatever, and I was like, wow, this is like the kind of community where I could, people kind of want you to have a good time, and I felt like that was one of the big things that kept me coming back.
That makes me so glad to hear.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anyone say that, so that's exactly what I wanted out of this community.
And we joke a lot, like, like me, Mama Dojo, being the mom community, Jason being the dad of the community, Jerry being the grandpa. Like, kind of like a family, like a family structure. But, like, that's seriously, like, how we model it, where, like, you're like a family. Like, and whether you came from Brawl, whether you came from Melee, whether you're from PM, like, it doesn't matter. When you're here, you're playing the game like you're family.
Yep.
So, like, if someone from the outside, like, tries to hate on us, we have to band together and, like, I almost went like, gang, really? And I'm like, gang, we take them out. But like, we have to stick together. And that's why, like, when things like infighting and like all this stupid, because there's always drama in SoCal. There's too many people. There's too many knuckleheads. So there's always some kind of fighting, and people are like, oh, this isn't like, I like having like a cool like harmony scene. And people over here fighting, causing drama. Like, I'm out of here. And you have those people who are like, oh no, drama's more interesting. You have the other people who are like, no, I like chilling and just like being cool. And that started to cause like divides and all sorts of stuff.
I think a part of that was actually my fault. No, I do. I think it was my mentality when addressing these drama issues, because there were a lot of things that people complained about that they were just dumb things to complain about. But because somebody did complain about them, they have every right to their opinion. Here we go again. But it was there was a lot of drama, especially there was this weird phase. You remember that? It was like every other day somebody was doing some other stupid thing that I had to make some stupid post about. This needs to happen and this needs to happen. It was just, and it got exhausting on my end because I felt like I was trying to teach toddlers how to, I don't know, be a person. And I went about going about that the wrong way because I kept trying to reject this drama that was being thrown in the community instead of letting the community take it and go, no, actually what you're doing is actually really stupid and we're going to make fun of you for it until you stop doing it, which is what I see now. Drama is almost at least the poor kind of drama, the really lame kind, the one that's it's not fun.
It's not cancer anymore.
It's
it
just
used
toxic.
to be really. I don't think you were around. You were probably around for a good amount of it.
Yeah.
Where it was like
awful.
Just
give an example.
DK Master React.
Like I took all that so personally. I took it very personally, and I saw it as a threat to my community. So I got really concerned, and I got really uppity. I got grandpa mode, and I think I ended approaching that wrong. And I think I gave power to all this drama when it shouldn't have been given. And I think this generation ended up taking away. I consider you the embodiment of the third generation of PM.
Hey.
And for an example, in case you guys are wondering how bad it got,
Yeah.
I was at my aunt's funeral, and I got a message. Yeah, Jason already
Okay,
knows.
No, keep talking.
And I got a message, and I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm at my funeral. My phone's just blowing up. I'm like, why is it blowing up? I'm getting mad. I look down. They said, yo, you need to check Facebook because blank, blank, blank happened. I go on Facebook. I look, Dadpool, the legend, made a post. It had been up for like an hour. He said, hey guys, look what I found on the way to David's house. It was a picture of a dead dog.
Oh, that's right. That was the dead dog one. I forgot. There were like so many random.
And like, I'm sitting there like, why the hell did you post a picture of a dead dog on the SoCal page? Like, and I just like, I almost like flipped my stuff like there. So I just like, I deleted it, made like some threatening post about how disappointed and angry I was. I'm at my aunt's funeral, knock it off. And then like, I just like turned off my phone and just like, went about my life.
Step away.
Yeah, like, but I'm like, if you're posting like, and that was just like, that was like one of my more memorable ones, but that wasn't one of the worst ones.
No, it wasn't.
But that's just like the caliber of like smut that was happening on our page.
Just like random garbage.
It was just silly little.
Call
People
out.
were getting really mad,
Yeah.
both at the game and at other players. I felt like it got really personal.
No, yeah, it
Like people were actually just wanted to hurt other people. I'm like, damn, why?
I think a little part of
The
that was
hands in the
also a
parking lot.
byproduct of our desire to make the group as close as possible, to make all these same people aware that you're going to be seeing the same people, get used to seeing them, and be friends with them. And I think they did hit a point where they got so close, they either kind of felt like they could go off on, or just get mad and be emotional about it.
Well, going from that, I guess, what like built you guys to like take this group of people? Like, what sparked the first desires for a PR? Because like, there's probably plenty of communities that grow, but like beginning to grow a community that actually is like a group of top players and like formatting that, like, what was that like? Like, what was the first PR like?
Okay, so number one, I was plugged in with like everything, adminning, TOing, like making rule sets, all this crazy stuff. I kind of decided like from the get-go, I didn't want anything to do with PR. So funny enough is this is actually where Mock steps in.
Oh, this is
Mock,
what he did as a
yeah, like this was like one of Mock's responsibilities. But I can speak and say like what had us decide that we needed a PR is that we were kind of seeding tournaments and we had an idea of who should go where, but at the same time, like we had like Melee players and like Melee had their PR. We had Brawl players, Brawl had their PR. And we're seeing like, well, we have PM players and we've had like a good 3-4 months of tournaments and we're starting to see who some people are consistent and who this, that, the third. Like, I think it's time for us to make a PR because one of the other communities that are involved with ours have a PR, as well as like we have a lot of really good players, but like it's hard to order them every set. Are we just going off the last tournament results? Or are we just doing like over a certain span? So we kind of adopted and jumped onto like the Melee schedule. So we were releasing when Melee released theirs. But
Well, tried to.
yeah, yeah. Oh, jeez. Well, that's one thing I do like is back then it used to take us forever to get PRs out. But I mean, you guys have found a way to streamline. Oh, Jason and so Jason and Zesty are on the current PR panel also. So.
We're gonna go to
Like, literally
Denny's.
after this.
Yeah, we got a meeting at Denny's to discuss the next PR.
They'll
After
be
this.
deciding the fate of the world.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. Because SoCal is the only relevant region.
I actually think, and I'm just gonna keep jumping in with like my perspective as like a new face while all this stuff was going on.
No,
Like,
that's good perspective.
yeah, like I really liked the idea because like I don't know if I think it might have been the first PR where it's like I joined after they had already established the first PR, but just like knowing who were like the good players versus like who were like the up and comers versus who was like really random for someone who just gets tossed in, didn't know what was going on. Like it gave me like names to like shoot for, where like because I really wanted I got in the scene, I wanted to be a top player. I was like, oh damn, Tyrant's like number 2, so getting destroyed by that guy is like not that big a deal, you know, like and then it's like and like you're only okay, I'm gonna shoot for like the 8-9s, right? So I think like Wieners was like the first guy I like had a close set with him in pools.
Oh yeah, that was the first PR then if Wieners was there.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'll get him next time, like, cause this guy's like doable. He's like on the lower end of the PR, and if I beat him, then I can get on.
Oh, I'm so mad.
But then it was like the next PR, they were like, I forgot what it was, but there's just so many people who are hungry for the exact same thing that like I ended up on the bottom of that barrel. I didn't make the next PR, but like still, like the fact that those things kept coming up, the fact that they kept being updated, like gave me something to shoot for, which like I really liked.
And fun fact with the first PR, it should have been a 10-person PR, and like the bottom person was Oxy Wieners, and there was like a debate between like Corey and the PR panel didn't know who they wanted to put on.
It was like Yador and Royal, right?
Eudora made it on, But it was like myself, Royal, and Wieners were kind of like the next like forerunners, I guess you could say. And then Wieners came to like one event and had like a really good run. So it's like, well, that just happened, so it's recent. So let's just put him on. I'm like,
Oh, so you, in theory, could have been on the first.
Yeah, Royal or I could have been on the first PR.
Yeah, because both of you, since then, have not.
Yeah, just like people kept getting better and our characters kept getting destroyed. Well, mine, because 2.6. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just like one of those things where like I was so close and I started TOing and I'm playing. But yeah, just a little fun fact.
Alright, so I guess obviously SoCal PM is probably one of the most successful PM communities at the moment. What do you guys think like are the key ingredients that either you helped to make or maybe just happened by chance? Like, why do you think SoCal PM is successful? Like, do you think you guys had any part in making it successful? Do you think it just like happened on accident?
You want to take it first?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start off real quick by saying.
Cheat sheets, I like it.
I got my cheat sheets.
Okay, so do I, guys.
Okay.
I'm prepared. One of the first things when it comes to like farming and whatnot is like you have to have good land, good soil that you're gonna like plant crops on.
Oh, dude, Farmer David.
So
Whoa,
old
let's go.
McDavid, old McDojo. I don't know.
Anyways.
So like being in SoCal is the holy mecca of Smash. So I just want to start off by saying that like you can't have a better place to plant a scene
That's true.
It really
than
is.
SoCal.
It is.
And even better than that is like we started right in the summer of Smash.
Mm-hmm.
So like right after the documentary launched, we started like, or I don't remember if it was right after or right during, but that was like we had the documentary kids coming in. We had like the revival of Melee.
Yeah.
We had Brawl people like trying to fight to keep their game alive. They had and PM like was working up to 3.0 too.
Yep.
So this was all like just the greatest like nutrients you could have fed a scene for us to just like, oh hey guys, we're just gonna take that and run with it.
Water that.
Yeah, like, so I want to start off by saying that's like number one is it makes it a lot easier. At the same time, you could like grow a jungle when you try to like just do like a little garden, and then it makes it hard to like keep everything intact and to get out of there alive. But that's first point, Jared. If you want to add something.
It's funny, I looked over my quote cheat sheets and I didn't even write anything down for this one. I think it's because I was thinking about it for a long time, but I couldn't really come up with all that much aside from what I mentioned about how you guys, at least the community handles drama now on its own instead of my feeling the need to intervene. What's going on here, kids? Knock it off! Their SoCal's, it was interesting. After a couple years, definitely after I left, SoCal kind of became its own entity. It just kind of started working on its own. People like Jason started coming out of the woodwork, started putting something on in San Diego. There was more work trying to get done over in OC. People were just trying to get more groups and get more games together, and with no prompting from us. They had just done that. And then people started making some content. People started doing some videos and had these ideas. And I think it was a playground for everybody. Everyone had a fresh start. Anyone could be anyone they wanted to be in this community. And we saw a lot of people come out pretty strong. And again, Southern California being what it is, it's hard to beat Southern California by way of growing a scene. We're the best. We're just the best. We are.
He's not wrong.
Simple as that. Certain people, it certainly wasn't luck. I don't really think any of it was luck based. Certain people, everyone who really just gave a damn. Everyone who continued playing the game and played the game because they wanted to play the game, not because they wanted to be esports or any other reason than just wanting to play the game.
Yeah. I think that's really big. To piggyback on that is talking about like the kind of the soil, not adding in the foundation. And that comes from people who like love the game, who are diehards for the game, people who work hard. This is like the J-Fall speech in the Batman onesie.
Which I love, by the way.
Oh, you watched
Of
my
course I watched it. I watched it like the first minute it was uploaded. I was like, oh shit, hell
okay,
yeah.
Jared. That's cool.
I missed the stream. I was so sad. I was off like on a dinner date with my wife, and I was like, I'm missing Jason.
Oh, that's really random. Okay.
There you go, man.
So like Jason touched on it. Shouts to Z-Man and the Balc cast offset. My man Maddox. He touched on it as well with just community building, and you need to have like people who will do the dirty work, who will like get their freaking roller sleeves up, get their arms dirty, and like do what needs to be done. That's what Jared and I ended up doing somehow. But it's going to be like content producers, like Balcony's doing currently with a lot of their videos, like J Falls is doing with his different analysis videos, tech breakdown videos. Need people who run events faithfully. It's one thing if you run like an event once and then you're like, well, that was cool. Now let's see the scene grow. It's like, no, you have to keep running events. You need to like run great events, not just decent events are okay. You need to like have people want to come back. You want to have people like want to tell other people to come out. Make it a priority to be there. So you need to innovate brackets, innovate different stream layouts, builds. Like that's something that Balcony's been killing it on.
Mm-hmm.
So shouts to Zesty and shouts to the party. You need to have just like the faithful few who just show up every time. And it's not just like, oh, I'm not going to show up because there's no top players, or I'm not going to show up because I can't make money because there's not enough people.
Show up to see your friends.
Yeah, like show up to see the homies, show up to play the game you love.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and bring a freaking setup, man.
Oh,
Just bring a setup. Just bring a setup.
We literally will give you like discounts.
Yeah, like we didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even do setup.
No, we couldn't incentivize people like that.
Because we didn't make any money. So
No,
we
we
couldn't,
didn't.
like,
I was gonna give you. Yeah, here's $5 in my own pocket.
That's something that still to this very day is a mystery we have not solved. Is setups sometimes. I feel like at the what is it, at the Philly tournament right before Olympus, it was a 64-man it was like a 60-something man bracket off of 3 or 4 setups, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's okay, there was a bar, so like people had practical. But yeah, like certain regions, like that is still a huge ass struggle everywhere for everybody.
Yeah.
Bring setups. That's like, please.
Now I get it if you're carpooling and you have like your entire car filled.
yeah, if you're bringing people, then you may not have to bring setups.
But if you are alone in your car and there's nothing in your driver's seat but like your jacket and your sticks, dude, bring a setup. It changes our lives.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just think that there's like certain essentials that are needed, and you just can't quit. Even if it's just like 5-man locals and you're just doing round robins and just playing with the homies, like that's fine. It'll grow from there. It may not grow like, overnight you get like 60 people all of a sudden. But if you just add one new person each time and just show them a good time and like make them want to keep coming back, that's all you can do. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't get bigger, then like that's cool because you're playing the game you love with your homies.
Should we just move into the tips and tricks for?
If you guys want to.
Yeah, I don't know what the tips and tricks are.
We're kind of going down that road.
Yeah, so
I didn't look at
basically
the
just
website.
like there are probably going to be a lot of like newer people, newer TOs. You might be talking like TOs of the future, basically. Like, what would you tell them? Especially because like a lot of them come from scenes that aren't SoCal, where you might be in like the Midwest, and like there's just not even as many people. Like, what would you tell them to like try to help begin their own scene?
And I do think what's cool is that they come from a certain era, and like we also like kind of organize events in like a different
technically like two eras. Of,
right,
like,
so we can all kind of
give
answer
ideas. I
this
guess we can
one.
all go around and like just give some advice, and we can just keep going until we feel like we're redundant. So I think this is probably like one of the biggest things people want to hear about.
A lot of people ask this question a lot.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me.
Well,
I get it.
I mean, we didn't know.
First off,
And Jason didn't know because I see how size tournaments early on.
Hey,
No. First of all, anyway.
one thing above all else, and this rings true for everything, is you gotta want it. You gotta want it. You gotta want it.
That's the Jared classic, dude.
But I do actually want to expand on that. Anyone can run a successful scene. Anyone can, but only most people can. I'm sorry, anyone can build a scene. But most can build a successful scene. Use your talents. If you want to do this, then do it. And I mean use any talent that you have in your community. You might just be good at talking to people. You're just a social person.
Yeah,
You're really good at
that's the
making
dojo.
people feel friendly. That's exactly what he was.
I was terrible at brackets.
He's useless at everything else.
Yeah, terrible.
But with
I can look at
people,
TV.
when it came time, it was like, David, I really need those 2 ass hats to get off that
No, that's how it happens. You don't understand, dude.
set. Get off that set and go get him, David. I'm gonna check
Jared
him
was
off.
about to snap next.
you're like the nice bouncer.
He
You guys
was.
don't understand, dude. Everyone thinks I'm like a hard ass or something.
You
Now
go
I'm
over there and
you
just
don't-
like, hey guys, excuse me, do you can you get off the thing? I'm just like, David, tell him to move. But,
This is real.
it is. But if you have a skill, if you have a trait that you feel like you can utilize for the community, then do it. Not only will you be benefiting your community, but I promise you that through these people and through the relationships that you make, you will find things out about yourself that you didn't know you had. I did. And running tournaments and trying and I think succeeding to build this community from nothing was probably one of the greatest things I've ever done, aside from my wife. But it is so fulfilling. So if you have that calling at all to give back to a gaming community, which is essentially what you're doing, You're not gonna be making money. Let's get one thing straight. You're not gonna be making any money.
Oh my god.
You might make you might make a little bit of your name for yourself, but let's be honest. Few people actually remember T.O.'s names. This guy that just runs the events. I want to see the guy that plays the event.
Yep.
Do it because you want to do it, and if you do want to do it, you will reap a lot of rewards. Absolutely.
Me next?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. I just feel like I have been talking a lot.
You have.
One thing.
That's what you're here to do.
We all fucking talk. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah, you're right. Once again, shouts out to Z-Man. One thing you need to have is a car. Like,
Oh my god.
that is such a big deal. And I say that from like carpooling. God, dude, I've been carpooling people from like 3 years ago. I'm still carpooling people to this day to tournaments and things. And if you're running a scene, like the Humble Dojo, I carried 9 TVs. The Paragon pregame, 9 TVs in my little car, dude.
Wait, what the fuck? How?
He.
9?
9.
Yeah.
That's a world record, I'm pretty sure.
had,
that makes
like-
no sense to me.
It's a tight fit.
I had like 4 or 5 small ones. And then I had like a big one. I had like 2 big ones sandwiched in the front seat, like screen to screen. And like the front seat was like pushed up. And I had like 3 on the back seat. It was like insane. So the point is like I've had to hustle in my day. I sound all old now. Damn. But just like you need a car, whether it's like carpooling people to events, whether it's transporting setups, even like when we do like We Live In and things, like I'll have the time like drive to come pick up TVs, then drive to the venue, then run the event, and then drive TVs back. So like when you have other people with cars who can like help drive or help bring people into the scene or even drive the fest, like you need Smash Fest to keep the scene healthy as well. So just like having a vehicle to get to events, to carry things, to get other people to events is really important.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign up if you don't have access to a vehicle. Simple as that.
Unless you're like on a college campus. Like I feel like that's like the kind of thing where like there are enough people in a
It's
close
funny
enough
because
space.
like you guys are saying that, like I don't even have a car, and I'm like,
What the
I'm like one of like the.
It helps when you run your tournaments out of your house, Courtney.
That's what I'm saying. Anywhere is a good Smash
All
video.
right, so Courtney's experience being a community leader is like way different. She runs a tournament at her house with a bunch of people. None of you have cars.
Well, Alex and I don't have a car. Adrian is probably our closest. Like he's like one of the OG guys. Like there was like 3 of us in Team Balcony.
Oh,
he
geez.
has a car, but Alex and I, who are like technically the ones who actually run the tournaments and do all the shit, like definitely have like nothing but a garage
It's
and a
SoCal's
house.
most successful tournament.
But it works. I thoroughly enjoy balcony tournaments.
Is there anything else you wanted to go on that?
Oh, I thought we were gonna go
No,
around.
no, I
Please,
can. I'll
we'll talk
go.
about you then.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no, I just wasn't sure if you had more to say about cars.
Yeah, cars are. Can you hear me? Cars are.
But I would say like I think a big thing that like kind of like people overlook a lot is just like, and it's something you guys obviously instill in the scene. It's just like the family aspect. Like I think like as much as it's important to like run a good event, obviously, and like have extra brackets and amateur bracket and make sure you run the game and the event well. Like I think there's something also to be said about like encouraging like socializing, especially in like a group that is just like at its core like a bunch of nerds who like aren't the best
True.
at like socializing.
True.
I think like Smash Fests are huge. I'm actually sad that we don't really have that in SoCal. Like that's always a thing that if I had like another like copy of me, I would like try to organize, but like
Can I share a quick story?
go for it.
And I swear, I know I'm just talking about talking so much. But like that was one thing is like we came to the point where it's like, do we want to have more tournaments or do you want to be geared more towards Smash Fest? And I'm over here like pushing my heart out for like, yo, Smash Fest this, Smash Fest that. And we ended up going more kind of tourney centered, which is part of the reason why we ended up having like 4 or 5 events like a week at one point. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
God.
when it was saturated with things.
yeah, I'm saying like, yo, we need to have more fests, and people kind of wanted to compete more. They wanted to get ranked. They wanted to make money. They were like more geared in the competitive mindset, more so than like kickback, get really good lab hours, really good like socializing. Because like playing like a bunch of back-to-back sets with somebody and then going getting food, coming back, chilling like Smash Fest are my favorite thing about the community, like hands down.
Yes.
Dude,
Slushy's shit, dude.
Slush, oh, shouts to Slushy. He's the freaking G, dude.
When was the last time Slushy was here?
It's been a
been a hot
He's a
minute.
kid
It was like
He used to
KL.
come over and help with
I
the
s- he
computer. all the
came to
time.
my wedding.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he and his wife, or not his wife, Ruth.
Yeah.
He came with
Shouts
Ruth
to Ruth
and
also.
his new baby.
Oh, that's
I got
adorable.
to see him.
Yeah.
So cute.
Shouts to Slushy, guys. Sorry, we're getting distracted. That guy's dope.
He's part of the fam, dude.
No,
But that's
yeah,
what I'm saying. Because there are gonna be days where you like hate the game, you know, and you don't even want to like. You think it's bullshit. Like you just got knocked out by Snake, and you're like, damn, like this game is actually the worst game on the planet. But what will get you to like actually come back or like at least stick around and chill in the community is like having the homies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like that's what like actually matters at the end.
I think that's what any game matters really in the end, because I mean you can beat a game through, but you eventually will stop playing. There's only one thing that keeps you back, and that's your friends.
Yeah, and like Smash, like being like locally based can be like kind of a challenge because obviously like you have to have a car and go to places, but at the same time like being like next to your opponent or like getting to play with actual people, like I think is huge and like a thing that actually is like super good for Smash because like you actually have to go talk to people. You can't like go to a tournament online and just be like like click buttons, never see a face.
Yeah.
Like you have to actually go and like say hi to someone and like kick their ass or get fucked. Like
Yeah.
you have to deal with that.
Sure.
I've been thinking a lot about hype lately. What actually encompasses hype? What is hype, right?
What generates
So you
it?
think like,
Well-
it's just
We're getting real deep.
we're going places.
meta, dude.
Yeah,
meta.
let's see.
So hype, right? It's super exciting, right? But what actually is hype? Is it just like when you just see a combo that's really really cool? Is that what's hype, or is it when everyone's like yelling and screaming in the moment? I think hype can only be hype when you have when you have the people around you who can actually appreciate what they are watching, because this doesn't include people who don't know very much about the game. They can't fully appreciate the combo you just executed and how difficult it actually was. But when you have those people around who can see that are right along with you for that ride, and you do something amazing with them, and as a unit, you're all just like, this is amazing, that's hype. That's hype. It has to be with people, though. You can't do it alone.
Yeah,
I couldn't just sit there with a bot and go, that was amazing against the secret.
I'm so sick.
Is anybody here?
That just reminds me of the legendary Brocal Bunch.
Oh,
Jason, that's your story, dude.
Oh
Tell
my
it.
god.
Tell it, Jason.
Oh yeah, okay. Like, 'cause I actually think that the whole like make it difficult to execute and like it being good Smash Bros. Play isn't even required for hype. You just need enough people. Yeah.
Footstool. Call it a day.
Yeah, I don't know, like, cause I have a bunch of friends down in San Diego, and like we came up, and it was actually the most mid to low level crew battle that has ever happened. But like we're actually a crew of friends, right? And like Brocal Bunch actually like hangs out a lot
at
with
the
us.
house. Oh my god!
And it was
you're talking about the one at that fucking living room.
back at the balcony, and I don't know.
Yeah,
if it was
I'm
you.
like commentating some shitty match that's actually like Rand's or something, and I like you could see in the webcam like your guys' bullshit going down.
Yeah, and like
Hear
Jared,
it.
that's exactly what it was. It's like when Nasty T lands a laser game, we all landed together. And
That's fair.
and that's why we were yelling like basic bitch shit. It's like, damn, he like rolled 3 times and down smashed. We did that together. We're a family and we're in this crew. And like every time anything happens, you feel like you know how it's like in like those like TV shows where like someone delivers like a punch and you see like the shadow of like his friend.
Yeah.
It's like that's like what we were doing, but with like low level Smash.
Dude, the father-son command, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They know.
I think that's really important to have in a scene too. So.
Totally fair. I would agree.
All right, Jason. If you had to give a tip to the world of TOs,
Okay, so like I feel like my TOing approach is a little different from everybody else's. Oh, what? Oh, okay.
No. This man's like
We got
the
something.
goat of TOs right here. He's like the most technical, the tech skill on his like
technical
bracket.
goat.
the bracket text skill.
You guys don't understand. Go ahead.
Like, because I think of like events as like a problem solving thing, right? And like it's not, the problem isn't like how do I beat this player. The problem is always like how do I, and you kind of invent your own problems. Like, oh, what if this player like kind of comes in? Like, what if this is like this kind of player enters my events? Like, they only like doubles, but they don't like singles. How can I make my event like cater to them? Or it's like, oh, how about this player who's been here for like 2 months and like hasn't really made many friends or whatever? How do I make the very next event feel really good for that player? And I like really like think about it like one person at a time. Like you know, there's like for example like Pookie Bear is like a random San Diego guy, and I'm like, this is a guy that comes out, all he really wants to do is hang out, but like he like really like he's not particularly good, but like what do we do? How do we make like this guy like really want to stay in the community, right? And then like I'll like make different things. Like, it'll be like, oh yeah, this week one PR player and one non-PR player are on a team, and then you team with each other, and then like you have something to talk about with somebody else, right? Or it's like this day is like, I'm gonna make it so that like there are like pools, because like some people were complaining about like not having enough matches. Yeah. And it's like always like I'm always outreaching to different players, like trying specifically like, there was like one day where I started doing like tutorials on the stream. Yeah. Because I was like, that's something that like if that player like came down and like saw this happening, like they would really like it, right? Or it's like there was one day where I was like, no doubles. We're literally only gonna play friendlies for 2 hours before we start the singles tournament, right? And like every single event and every single week was a new challenge. Like,
did people actually show up like on time, or did they come in early to actually play the friendlies?
I lied to them. I pretty much said I'm going to unveil a certain thing early, and then like it'll be sick, and then we'll start the tournament afterwards. And I'm like, no, we're just gonna play friendlies. So like that's different.
So funny. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Good, I like that.
Yeah. So like pretty much like every single event for me was different. I kind of like tried to put my heart in it in a different way every single week.
And that's where the bounty bonus came from also, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a couple of different things where like you were the first one to do it.
I like threw a bunch of ideas at the wall, because like there was one thing like I remember like I was specifically thinking of like VG and War, and I'm like, these guys are like really sick, but like nobody knows about them because like they're San Diego locals. They kind of play the same players every time, and when they get enough upset, it happens one round before people start caring about the upsets. Yeah. So I was like, how do I make it so that people care about these players? Because like these players are like really dedicated. They're my regulars. Yeah. I want to make them feel good somehow. So it's like I'm like going through different ways that I could do that, right? And I was like, oh well, we'll give them money. Like if I give them money, that makes them feel good.
Give them money.
I'll give them money. I'll put them in the write up that like for example.
Oh, the write ups. You started those too.
Yeah, I was like let people know about the tournament, because like ultimately people want to feel good, right? Yeah. So it's like like VG beat some, I don't know, or like Steez beats like. I don't know, it doesn't really matter, right? It's like they beat somebody who's like not that big of a name, but is like a significant jump in their skill or something, and I like would write the context up for people. Like Oates beat me and Staffy in the same tournament, but when we were both at like the bottom end of the PR, but it's still like a really big win for him, because like context, he hasn't beat either of us in like 6 to 8 months or something. Mm-hmm. So it's like every single week is like this player stays, this player stays, this player stays, and I like tried to make San Diego like a really sticky scene where it's like. And I think that kind of like comes out, and like all the regulars are still around. Like nobody in San Diego left. A lot of players moved, but they're still all active in the scene. And I think that was my goal. Was not necessarily to bring new players in, but to make the ones who are there have tournaments that they can talk about and remember, right? And that keeps them coming to the next one. Yep. And I think
keep it fresh.
Yeah, keep it fresh every single week. And then like when something cool happens, you just like have other players that you didn't even hear of. Like, oh, that's a really cool idea, I want to come. And then, like, the numbers just eventually start growing. Yeah. But you target the people that are there, because those are the people that matter the most. Yeah. People who are actually at your tournament.
And he brings up a really good point, too. When you're getting into this business, you're serving the community at that point, whether you're doing it, just a couple people at a time, trying to cater to some people for whatever reason. But in the overall spectrum of it, like, you serve the gaming community. You're kind of at their mercy. Whatever you're doing for their entertainment. And if they're not entertained, if they're not enjoying, then you're doing your job wrong. So keep in mind, this isn't just about, can I make a stream happen? Can I make a bracket? Yeah, anyone can do those things, but you're dealing with people and you're working for them. So it's very important. I think that mentality is kept while you're running all these things, and especially. Corey,
I'm so scared.
Corey. I want to talk about Corey because he's such a power-hungry bastard.
Oh, the original corrupt mod of
now it's all a joke. I don't think we've ever had any issue with actual corruption, but that is one thing. If you have a heavy head or if you have a big head, don't become a community leader.
Yeah, I've just heard horror stories from just even like neighbors do like just stuff from. Other regions where it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's the only tournament that's out there, but he like just cuts money off the top, or he does this, that, the third, and people just kind of have to deal with it. I'm just like, oh, yo, that sucks. Yeah. So if you have one of those scenes, that's
so humble.
I don't know, man. It's rough.
Make your own event and make it better than that, guys.
That's what I said.
That's
But,
like, because okay, this is the thing that's controversial
That's
that I will
the boss
say.
strategy.
That's
That I will say.
Oh, the boss.
The boss strategy.
The boss.
Well, dude, like if you actually look at running at Smash events or like TOing and stuff as like a business, like it makes way more sense like what you're doing, because like what you're doing, like what Jason's talking about is like, yo, like these guys are customers, like how do I keep like my regulars coming all the time, like how do I attract new like I think looking at it like a business, and I get that it's sketchy because like, oh man, like are they actually making money off of like the community?
I think you should be able to make money. So that's a whole other conversation. I feel like it's relevant, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but like
go ahead.
I just think that like if you think about it like a business, it like really opens your eyes to like because there's like, okay, there might not be like that many tips to running tournaments, but there's billions of books on how to run a business or like how to like understand business, like, and business tends to be pretty simple. Like you're just trying to like appeal to people, and if you like can understand that aspect of like, yo, like just as a business would like ask their customers like what you did wrong, like surveys on like what you like after every tournament, just like ask on your page like, yo, like what did you guys like, what did you guys not like, and then tweak it. And like your product tends to be like the tournament, so you know, like how can you make your product better? How do you advertise your product?
Yeah, marketing.
Yeah,
customer
it's
service.
like branding. Like I think,
like
so you know, like having like
So
an
good at that.
image, you know, and like understanding like what your image is to like people. Like I
Yeah.
think that's like a huge thing that like esports is kind of bringing out in people now more than ever. But like,
Right now.
yeah.
That's what my attention has been focused on for the last maybe years. I've been watching this esports thing develop and watching these essentially new career paths and entirely new frontiers of, well, research for me. But I mean, this whole thing is so new, and people are finding out all these new things, and people like Jason coming up with these little different ideas. What can I do in this tournament to appeal to, you know, such and such? These really small things. Everyone is learning how to monetize not video games, but video game communities. People are figuring that out.
$1 billion industry.
Very quickly. Very quickly. And the exciting thing right now is that just about anybody can. There are really no age restrictions, no financial restrictions. Anyone with the capacity to have a computer.
It's the Wild West right now.
It really, really is. It's in a very exciting time. If you're not paying close attention to esports, pay attention to everything. It's extremely fascinating what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Well, unless you guys have any more tips, I will probably just give you guys one last question. Do you think, looking back on it as you have been for the last hour, do you think there's anything you guys would have done different in the beginning? Perhaps like one last final like tip to new people. Like what would you love to have told yourself when you first started? Maybe just like mentality thing or actual advice.
When I had started TOing, I had just gotten off of being a person who just bar hopped every single weekend, almost every weekday. I partied almost every single week.
Let's go, Jared.
No. Well, because I was going to a lot of bars, and there was when I went into my first tournament, I went in with the same mentality that I go into a new bar with, and that's I'm very cautious about everyone around me. I'm almost paranoid, and one thing, don't be paranoid around gamers. We're the biggest nerds for the most part. I think don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Anyone in there that's playing a video game in that room, if they turn you away, they're just a dick. You know, whatever. But for the most part, they're all the nicest people. So don't at all be nervous about entering any sort of leadership position. Second, I wish I could take back yelling at Jerome. That was my one. I felt like that was my one mistake that I was really upset about. He messed up in bracket. He told me he was going to be back in like 15 minutes. He came back like an hour and a half later. I told him sorry. I had to DQ you, and he had just missed his match by like 10 minutes, but I DQ'd him. And DSF had sat down to play his match with the person that he was going to fight next. And Jerome started throwing he was really upset, and he started getting a little close, and I just kind of got loud. I stood up and no, actually, I did not stand up. That was the one thing I refused to do. If I stood up, it was going down. If I stood up,
you guys don't understand.
it would
Dude,
be
Jared was a
dangerous.
firecracker. You guys don't know.
I yelled though. I yelled in front of my. If I would at least taken it outside, I think that would have been a little better. When things get heated, stop what you're doing. Go outside. And if you need a break, if someone's giving you a hard time, just say, talk to your other TO, David, I need you to handle this. I need to take a break. Don't let your anger get to you because you'll say and do some really stupid stuff. And it can be frustrating, especially when people are playing friendlies again in the same damn corner, the same damn people. You just asked them, hey, man.
The worst is that it's like people that you know, and they have
Yeah.
gone to tournaments for like years.
You know what I want. Get off.
That's just that special, dude. It just had these two long alleyways, and you always had someone tucked in the corner or like trying to be on the far side of the TO desk, just playing friendlies.
Oh, they try.
You're like, that's not funny.
We have to start doing rounds. We have to start. Hey, David, would you mind doing another round?
Yo, shouts
We
to
have
Joey.
take a walk.
JL or
JL.
Like he's like we literally hired, well not hired because we can't pay. we need to make money. But his job was literally to go around and like make sure people were like doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
So like they're playing friendlies, he like kick them off. He makes sure pools are running smoothly. Like we have to have a flow guy. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Very valuable position. No, I'm glad you mentioned. I totally forgot about him. Not him, but his position. I just saw Joey.
JL went to the
the Arcadian
Yeah,
dude.
of course. I saw him there, and then I saw him at TwitchCon too, which is the first time I'd seen him in like a year and a half or something.
Sorry guys.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway.
Were you?
No, I think I'm good. I think you guys have what you need out of me.
How about you, David? Regrets. Give me your salty regrets.
I mean, for one, since I'm the best to ever do it, I don't know if I really regretted anything.
You were a legend.
No.
That's true.
God, dude. No, I did so many things wrong. so many things wrong. From like, day one, seating people, like I have a terrible habit of like not adding people to bracket. So I ended up making a system where I put in extra buys. So when I inevitably forget them, I put them in.
That's where they came from.
Like,
Alex
3
does
buys.
that, I think.
That was him.
I remember there was one tournament, and Jared, I'm gonna fire shots at you, but it was like there were so many buys, like extra buys in the tournament that like one of them had tied with Jared for like last place at a tournament. It was all these buys got last, and then like the next round was like a buy had faced another buy and losers won one round, which was equivalent to what Jared did, and he tied with the buy.
yeah, it was like the buys were listed above Jared. I'm like, oh damn, dude.
Yeah, dude, you got outplaced by a buy.
I got outplayed by a buy. That's how bad we're talking here, boys.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I've done a lot of things from like day one stuff to like even like me fighting with Sosa. Like, just so many things I've done wrong. But as far as things I've regretted, I feel like I've learned from everything I did wrong and have more or less tried to fix it moving forward. So I think if I were to like speak back to my old self, definitely one, stay humble. I was just kind of explaining like my tag humble dojo isn't who I am now. It's kind of like the goal. And I'm in the dojo trying to stay humble, trying to like work towards this ideal person. And I think that's really important for my TL style. And just like all the various leadership positions I was in it through the growth of SoCal. And just keep my head up. Because there's a lot of times where I mess up, like the KO Arcadian, dude. I screwed that thing.
We actually just talked about that last episode.
Oh, Jesus. No, yeah, so... Yeah, a lot of people like to remember the good things I did. I screwed up a lot of stuff. And don't let that keep you down. I'm telling myself this and telling new TOs, experienced TOs, don't let that stuff keep you down. Just make sure you learn from it and keep your head up. If your scene loves you, then like they're going to kind of like overlook it and help you build. They're going to help you move forward. If they hate you, they'll probably try to crucify you.
They'll tell you. You'll know when everyone hates you.
SoCal tells
It's
you.
hard to guess.
So yeah, I think that'd be my biggest thing is just like stay humble and like just keep my head up and just like keep moving forward, keep learning, keep growing, keep getting better.
All right. Well, any last words you guys want to tell anyone? Anything you feel like you missed? You guys feeling good?
Did I mention I should be a top player right now? And I shouldn't have
That you
TO'd
would have
and built
been?
it?
The alternate reality where Humble Dojo makes it to 10th place on that first PR. That's the timeline where Dojo is number 1 on the PR right now.
Number 0, dude, Blackiavelli. I'm trying to tell you guys.
I don't trust this future y'all are talking about.
So shout outs to Oxy Wieners for having a sick tournament, keeping David in the community leader position as opposed to top player.
But
Like,
shout
I'm
out
still-
to whoever beat David from keeping him from being on the PR.
I'm still like semi-relevant now, and I've been like TOing and like retired and all this other stuff. I'm still relevant. Imagine.
Imagine what you could be.
Relevant, but in that era of, or like that region of relevant where it's like you're barely irrelevant, you know?
So I'll show up and get like one good match, and I'm like, yeah, I got a good match. Now it's well, I'm playing IPK now, so into losers for me. But no, yeah, I mean, I feel like it was a really exciting time. Definitely, if you see any of us at tournaments, I mean, including Balc people, J Falls, Jared,
Nah,
His
fuck
tag is
that
all
guy.
alone.
I quit this Balc cast.
Oh shit.
If you see any of us at tournaments, and we aren't like working, because actually we normally, well, except for Jared now, but most of us are gonna be working, unfortunately. You don't do stuff at tournaments anymore. Most of us will be working.
He handles the mic.
I don't do this anymore. It's great. I just get to hang out with people.
Yeah, but like, yo, talk to us. Like, ask us. Like, we've been around for a good amount of time. Even like Zesty, who's like probably the newest person in the cast right here, as far as the SoCal family history. But we've been around for a while. Like, we've heard stories. We have stories. It's just come say hi. Come
Seen
talk
some
to us.
shit.
Yeah, like some, especially at the Balc. I heard a dude died here. Like,
multiple times.
so definitely like. Your community leaders, they're your friends too. So, I mean, as long as it's a good time, sit down, play some matches, talk, ask stories, ask for tips, etc.
And I might scare you at first, and that's okay.
He will.
Just give it time. By the way, he mentioned something about my tag being Zalem. It's actually not anymore. Very, very recent
What?
change. Yeah.
I can't even have nice things, dude.
Well, the thing, how do you have a recent change if you haven't gone to a tournament in like 6 years?
Got you.
I'm actually going to be getting, hopefully, back into just a little bit of Project M, but I'm going to be dipping my feet into other avenues. And the name change was mostly because I've never been called anything but either Jared or Hayes. Hayes was just football. They call you by your last name.
Yeah.
So either Jared or Hayes. But I've never been called anything else other than that. So after a while, people calling me something different just felt so alien.
Yeah.
So tag is Druid. Say Druid, say Jared. Sound pretty close together, and I'll take it.
Oh, hey.
It's like no, not an anagram. That's not what it
It's
is.
not an anagram.
I'm trying to think of like that
Synonym.
where it sounds kind of similar, but it's
Synonym?
not. Yeah, that's
I know,
probably close.
Synonym is a mean.
And while we work out this word soup, I think that's a good spot
Yeah,
to...
alright. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week we're going to be doing a Balcast offset. I don't think Nick actually said it in... What?
Oh, sorry. No.
No, so I don't think Nick actually got a chance to say it at the end of his New York, New Jersey interview, but he is actually going to be taking a break because he will be in San Diego and doesn't want to drive an hour plus just to do an interview. So we're going to be having Team Balcony's Blank C, Adrian.
Hey.
He's going to be taking over the interviews of people, and we're going to be talking to Anther about a mix of stuff, top player, what it's like to be in PM, the Midwest, smash in the Midwest in general, which is kind of like an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Being an old Brawl player.
Kind of his history into the game. It's just a whole lot of stuff.
Sick.
So if you're looking for that, that'll be next week, maybe Monday or Wednesday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, guys, Anther is sick. Please tune in. Like,
Oh yeah,
he
and
is so
I guess
sick.
one last shout out. He is actually one of the players we're trying to fly out for the bigger Balc.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel like tossing $5 his way,
Guys, the bigger Balc is sick. It's
people
real
don't
sick. Like,
nobody can even. We have like acquired so much dope shit in like the last month that we get to announce on New Year's, and I'm just like, oh my god.
just for
Like,
reference,
people thought last year's tournament was good. Last year's tournament was shit.
guys,
compared to what the
I
future
ruined
is.
tournaments, and like I didn't ruin that, so that's telling you something.
I ruined that. I like ran a shitty screen for the.
So big Balc, like the bigger Balc. Sorry, I said big Balc 2. Like where are we? East
What are you,
Coast,
stupid?
Supernova
Oh my
2.
God.
Super duper Balc.
Super duper.
You guys
hyper
need to be there, and Anthony needs to be there. So throw somebody out there.
yeah.
Make sure you get out there. But
yeah.
sorry.
But thank you guys for tuning in, and have a lovely evening.
Thanks, guys.